Hi, welcome to Coding Bible channel. In this video, we will start talking about a new topic in Angular, which is directives. A directive is a class that will direct Chrome to deal with HTML tag in certain way. So you can consider directives as component, but without a template or without a specific template, and we can apply that component to any template or to any view. This is the difference between component and directive, and actually you can consider content as an extend to directive, because if we compare the directive decorator with component decorator, we will see the same properties. However, component decorator has additional properties such as the template or template URLs, and directives has two types. The first one is attribute directive, and from its name you can think that it will add or delete some attributes in HTML element, which means that we can use the attribute directive to change the design of the HTML element. And the other type is a structural directive, and from its name this will modify the structure of the DOM or the document object model, which means structural directive will add or remove an HTML element based on condition or Boolean condition. Of course, we can create our custom directives, but we will not do it in this point because I think this is some advanced topic, and we will not start with this in this level, or maybe at the end of the beginner level. At this point, we will start talking about the directives or the ready directives that Angular created for us, and we will start by the attribute directives, and we will start by using ng class, which is an attribute directive. So let's see ng class. Ng class, from its name, you will think that it will add the classes. Yes, we can use it as the normal classes. For example, text white, bg red. So are there any differences between ng class and class binding? Yes, there are two differences, and I will talk about them in this video. So let's try bind ng class with variables. Of course, we can bind it with string variables that hold the classes, as you can see. And here you can see the first difference, which is Angular will not order the classes alphabetically, as we saw before in class binding. And this is the same if we bind it using array or if we bind it using object, like this one. The second difference is that we can, for example, write here condition, and we can't bind it as we did before in class binding. This will not work with ng class, but it works with class, if you remember from the lesson of class binding. So this is the differences between ng class and the class binding. Also, if you will use the object, you can write the classes without single quote if it hasn't dash in the name. So this means that if we remove single quote here, it will not work, it will show an error. So a final note is that to use ng class, you have to import a common module, and also if you are using Angular versions that support standalone component, you can just import ng class directly. But so for me, I prefer using class binding, because for me, I consider ng class as an unnecessary code. So this is the end of the video, and if you have any question, don't hesitate to ask us, and thank you for watching.